Hello, freshmen. This is Mr. Barry, and at this point, you can put a voice with a face as we've met each other and we've learned each other's names and we've talked a little bit about each other and got to know each other. But something that's going to be very useful for you is what we are going to do in school this year. This is my first attempt at a video, so there may be some glitches, and please um, bear with me as I learn, as you will learn as well. One thing I want you to keep in mind, though, as you watch this video and listen to me speak about our regular classroom processes and Global 9 in general, I do want you to bring any questions to class, such as, I couldn't hear your voice. There was only a black screen. I have a Mac and it wasn't compatible. These problems will come up. We are going to try to work through them the best we can. And also, if you are lacking internet access at home, you always can use our computer lab, in which I am available to write you passes during your time throughout the day. Well, this is Global History and Geography 9 with Mr. Barry, as you can see, and this is the Global Gazette. The Global Gazette is a newsletter that is put out every month. It is very valuable to you. Do not lose it. Share it with your parents. Share this video with your parents. This tells them and you what to expect for the month, what we're doing in class, and really important information, not for just you, but also, global studies, but also you as a freshman. I put in some information that you will need to know as a freshman and upcoming events and those sorts of things. For me specifically in Global History and Geography 9, you will see a materials list right here on your right. It's important that you have a 3-ring binder, no less than 1 inch. Anything less than an inch will not provide you ample space to store the things that we do in a year. You'll also need a folder. This folder is used to clean out your binder periodically. I don't expect you to carry around a big 3-inch binder with everything we've done throughout the year, but I do expect you to keep everything we've done throughout the year, just not carry it around with you all the time. If you put it in a safe place, it's less apt to get lost that way. Always, 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 please bring a pen or a pencil to class. Purple, blue, yellow, red, lead, whatever, as long as I can see it, we can work very well together and you can communicate your ideas on paper. You will also need about 5 3x5 cards. By Monday, September 9th, disregard that date. That is not what we're going to hold you to. I will let you know when you need those cards. Now, 500 sounds like a lot, and it is. If you have 50 to 100 cards by our first assignment, that's fine. And you want to get the cards as we go, that's fine. But we will use about 500 throughout the year as we create study guide cards, flashcards for vocab, and we do play some learning games with those cards. It says, welcome to Global History and Geography 9 here with Mr. Barry. What you see here is what I just basically gave you an outline of. So what I'd like for you to do is read it on your own, skim it on your own, and be ready to discuss it in class tomorrow. As we move down here, you'll see what is Global History and Geography 9. Now, Global History and Geography 9 is your first time since 6th grade, I believe, studying history outside of the United States. We will discuss some of the Americas. But one thing that sounds daunting about our course is that it starts with prehistory and runs roughly through the Enlightenment of the late 1500s CE, or Common Era. You will learn what that means. This means that we're going to study together over 10,000 years of history. It sounds like a lot, but if we're organized, we work together, and we embrace this idea of flipping, which we're trying right now, we will be successful together, and it will not be as daunting as you may initially hear when you hear the number 10,000 years. At the bottom of the page, you'll see a curriculum guide from the New York State Education Department. If you want to go online, and we will look at this together in class, if you want to go online and take a look at this, it's very useful. It tells you what we're going to be learning about. But it's not a crucial thing to do, as we will discuss what we're going to be learning about pretty periodically together. So our classroom. Our classroom is a shared space, and it's to be respected by all at all times. It's important that the room is respected. People come in and clean it. Other people share it. It needs to be clean. You'll notice that I'm not an interior decorator by any means, but I do like things to be clean and orderly. Throwing garbage, papers, pencils, wrappers, or debris of any kind on the floor will not be tolerated. If you make a mess, you'll be asked to clean it up. If you refuse, you'll be written for insubordinate behavior. This is very important to me. Breaking this rule will lead to disciplinary measures. The second rule that I hold very important is lateness. Lateness is to be taken seriously. A late student or group of students disrupts the classroom environment where the student is trying to or not disrupt, it does. It's always a distraction. On top of this, lateness shows disrespect not only for the instructor, but also your classmates, and screams that my agenda is more important than that of the school, my instructor, and my classmates. This attitude can destroy from a fun learning environment and a positive school culture. It is also known that life sometimes throws us a curveball. So therefore, every student is given 2 lates per quarter. On the third late, the student will serve a detention in the ISS room. Not my room 10th period, the ISS room. 10th period is for help and learning. It's not for me to discipline you for being late or teach you about being late. As 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, you should know that being on time is important, not only in school, but in your entire life. Good news, those are the only 2 structured rules you'll have to remember. Outside of this, I have one very simple rule. Do not do anything that will disrespect yourself, your family, or your classmates, or your school. This is also the team rule of Duke University. For those of you who may not know me, I'm a big basketball fan, and Mike Krzyzewski is my favorite coach, and this is one of my favorite rules that he has, as it leads you to be your leader and not people telling you what to do. Grading. It's important to every student. It's important to every family. It's important to every teacher. Before I tell you how you will be assessed, I must tell you about assessments and pretest and data analysis. You're going to be given a pretest this year that will not count on your grade. Again, it will not count on your grade. But what it will give me is a baseline of what you know as you walk in the door about global history. South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, India, the Middle East, Indonesia. These are places you may have not had a chance to study in great depth. We will do that together. You should not be discouraged if your grade on this is low. It simply tells me what you know when you walk through the door. Throughout the year, we will take unit tests. Those unit tests will range from anywhere from 8 to 10 to 12 tests. Those tests, each and every time, we will embark upon a data analysis. That simply means how'd you do, what questions you got wrong, how can we go back and revisit those questions so you can get that information. That will happen a lot. However, grading in my class is very simple. We have one category, performance tasks. You're going to be asked to do numerous performance tasks. These range from essays. They could also be readings. They could be notes. They could be watching a video at home and bringing the notes to class. They are certainly going to be tests, DBQs, thematics. It could simply be a question on the smartboard that you come into school and read, and I say, all right, you have 10 minutes to devise as a group a 2-paragraph response to this question. These things happen a lot in my class. It may be a little bit non-traditional. However, this is something that you're going to have to get used to. Grading and figuring out your own grade is something that you can do all the time. Please look at the example to the right. If you had 14 assignments in a quarter and each were worth 100 points, the total amount of possible points is 1,400. Imagine you received 1,256 of those points. Your grade would easily be calculated as a 90%, as you achieved 89.7% of the total points. That rounds up to a 90. It's really that simple. You can always keep track of your grades. If you don't, I update them once a week. Every Friday, you can figure out your grade with me in a study hall. If I have time, a lunch, anything like that, it really does not take that long. As we move down here, there's the concept I've been talking about and what we're trying to do right now, the flipped classroom. The flipped classroom is a new concept to me. When I first heard about it, I was a skeptic. However, as I thought more about this classroom model, it fits perfectly into my style as a teacher. What is it? This model, in a very basic explanation, is having students gain information at home or in a library or our school labs in the form of videos, lectures, reading, music, etc. outside of the class. Then we engage in the work process, writing, question and answer, debate, projects, multiple choice questions, other sorts of project presentations, anything that you would do in a classroom. We spend most of our time doing that. where I'm not standing up in front of you or talking to you like I am now with a lot of the valuable minutes that we have in class, but rather I'm moving around from group to group. I'm sitting with you one-on-one and working with you to try to meet our educational goals together. I like this idea because I've committed greatly to group work and team collaboration in my model of the classroom. This will be the first time I try this. There'll be some bumps in the road, but we'll figure it out and we'll enjoy the process and probably have a good laugh as we go through. You will see this is very valuable. Students in the past really enjoy this. This is a calendar of what we're going to do daily. I will start before I say anything else. That should say 2014. However, the dates are right. And I'll also say that we will change from time to time. So this is wrong, but our dates, our numbers, our days are correct. You'll see we'll have the name game, which at this point you will have played in class, and hopefully I got all of your names on the first day. That's a goal of mine. You'll see tomorrow, or tonight will be assigned this very video you're watching, and you'll see tomorrow you're going to watch a video on the Nasarima. As we scroll through, and I'll bear going day by day, as we'll do that probably together in class a little bit on the day after we watch this video, you'll see that things are outlined for you on a daily basis. Yes, they will change. Things come up, fire drills, all sorts of different interruptions. But this is a good outline of what you will have due, what we will be doing, when we'll be watching such videos, and assign certain things. It will change. Again, it will change. Lastly, the parents portion. Something I do every month is I have a portion where the parents are able to look at the Global Gazette and they can earn you points. If your parents fill out the parents portion of the Global Gazette, which is sometimes a very easy thing, such as your parents' name and their email address this first time through. And I'd also, where it says any other information you think I should know, I would like your parents, please, or yourself, do you have internet access at your home? Can you watch these videos at your home? Website in the works, it is working. So we have our website going. In fact, you will have to access this from the website, from my website on the Peru homepage, which we'll go over together in class on the first day of school. 10th period. It's been a long-standing tradition at Peru Central School that there's a 10th period built in for assistant after-school clubs, detention, etc. I use this period for academic purposes. You will not stay with me for disciplinary purposes. Disciplinary purposes will be taken care of through referrals. There's 8 or 9 reasons why a student could stay after. You don't understand the material. I see that, and you come up to me, or excuse me, you notice that. You come up to me and say, I want to stay 10th period. That's great. You're advocating for yourself, and I notice that it's important for you to learn when you make those sorts of actions. However, the instructor approaches you because the instructor does not think the student understands the material. That may happen. Don't get discouraged. Realize it's not a punishment. A student was asked to leave the classroom. They couldn't manage themselves that day, and they need to make up the material they missed. Missing homework or a video that you may be asked to watch, you may have to come in 10th period to make that up with me. If you have low test and quiz scores, I ask that you come in the day before these tests and quizzes to make up, to review for these tests and quizzes in the future. So an example of this would be a student does really well in all of our in-class discussions, all our in-class activities, but when handed a test or a quiz, they don't do so well. They don't show what they're truly capable of. I'll ask you to come in the day before and review with me. A student was absent and we had a lesson that is not easy for you to make up, you'll need to come in 10th period. If it's something that maybe we did flashcards and you can say to me, well, since we did flashcards and I was absent, I'll do those in study hall and I'll bring them into you when I'm done. That can happen. That can get you out of a 10th period. However, if you feel like you need the time, you always have it with me. A long string of absences. We can get sick. Things can happen. Break an ankle, hopefully not. Sometimes you're out for a long time. You will have to stay after 10th period. It's not a punishment again. It's for your well-being. And for any other reason that I seem necessary, we may have to have you stay 10th period. If you fail to report to a 10th period class without contacting me first, you'll be turned into the discipline office for skipping. Skipping a 10th period will have the same consequences as skipping a class period 1 through 9. Again, 10th period is not a punishment. I use 10th period to ensure success for student and the instructor. Well, here's my contact information. Mr. Matt Berry, Peru Central School. My extension here is 6452. I cannot answer it during the day. However, I will get an email with any sort of voicemail. It goes directly to my email. I can get the information from you or your parents if you have a question about something. And you can just email me at any time about anything in class. It's a good way to get to me as I check my email periodically throughout the day and will probably be the fastest way I get back to you. Well, that was my first attempt. Thank you for bearing with me. We'll work through the bumps. If you have questions and whatnot tomorrow, we'll work through those. See you tomorrow.